So you want to get your kid a guitar. That's awesome. It's probably one of the best decisions you can ever make. It will help them grow spiritually and mentally and physically and emotionally and definitely socially. I think it's an awesome thing. But one of the biggest questions that I've been asked over the last 24 years of teaching guitar lessons is, should I get an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar for my kid's first guitar? So we're going to kind of go over that today in today's video. But first, thank you so much for checking out this video. My name is Drew Bentley and the channel is called Learn Guitar with Drew. If you like what you see here, you get some value out of it, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications. If you leave a comment, if you'd like, in the comment section that says I subscribed, I'll do my best to try to respond to you. Okay, so let's get into this this question here. When I was a little kid, I had an acoustic guitar I got when I think I was 9 years old. And I played it enough, maybe not enough. There was an old lady up the street who taught me guitar lessons, and we did like Puff the Magic Dragon and stuff. It wasn't all that super exciting, but I definitely enjoyed trying to learn how to play. And then I saw Kiss in concert, and I decided to be like Ace Frehley and smash my guitar. It wasn't a really good idea. I did that in the backyard. Ended up taking some nails and drilling them into, attaching them to the guitar neck. And I played this little guitar neck for like 6 months. My parents finally took pity on me. But my very first electric guitar came when I was, I think, 15 years old on Christmas morning. And that was like one of the greatest moments of my life. I remember playing that guitar for like 4 straight hours out of a guitar magazine, kind of playing whatever songs I could find in there. I didn't put it down. I haven't put it down since then. But getting your first guitar, either or electric or acoustic, is a great moment for your kid. So let's get into some of the sort of pros and cons of the two, and at the end I'll tell you what I think is maybe the best decision to make. Okay, so let's start with the acoustic guitar first. The acoustic guitar is a simpler thing to get. It doesn't require as much stuff. You could just get a guitar and like a gig bag or like a case and some picks, and you're off and you're running. So that's a lot easier to get an acoustic guitar as far as getting started goes. You don't have to have a lot of bells and whistles. So it's better in that sense. It's also easier to transport. So if you want to go to your grandparents' house, the kids going to their grandparents' house, or they're going to vacation, you want to bring the guitar with you in the car. Acoustic guitar is great for travel. It's great for being able to bring it from one place to another. So that's definitely something to consider. Another thing about the acoustic guitar is it probably costs less. Now that's not necessarily true because there are guitar packages for electric guitar, but generally acoustic guitar is a little simpler, a little less money, a little less of an initial investment. So that's the acoustic guitar, and that's been traditionally what people have done since the beginning of guitar times, is they've started with an acoustic guitar. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a great thing. It's a great way to get started. Just some considerations here. On the electric guitar side, my take on the electric guitar thing is, first of all, it's a lot easier to play. So if your kid is trying to master an instrument, if it's easier to play, that's probably a good thing. The action is lower on the strings, and the strings are definitely easier to play too because there's one less wound string. So it's not as much of a struggle physically to play it. It's also not as wide of an instrument, so you're not wrestling with this big wide guitar. It's maybe easier to balance and take to play in that sense. That's something to consider. Another thing about the electric guitar is the fun factor. Okay, so it's a lot of fun to have switches and to have knobs and to have things like that you can turn, and amplifiers and all kinds of little gadgets and toys. The fun factor is really good with the electric guitar, and I think it's important for kids to stay engaged. This is something that will help them to stay focused and be really into the instrument because there's a lot of stuff involved. Now, the acoustic guitar is great too if your kid doesn't want to maybe dive as deeply into it initially, but the electric guitar fun factor is a really great thing. Another thing about the electric guitar is there's tech involved. So with the electric guitar these days, there's all kinds of apps you can use. There's different sounds and amplifiers, like my Fractal Audio Axe FX has 256 amps, I think, at last count. So I have like almost virtually endless amounts of sounds that I can get with that machine. And with all the recording equipment and stuff, it's really, really, really fun. Like I've loved my hobby, I call it my jobby. It's my job and my hobby together. All those gadgets and toys, big boys and their toys kind of thing, makes it really, really fun. So electric guitar is a really cool thing in that sense. Another thing about the electric guitar is if your kid gets involved in playing in church, or if they want to play it like in a small ensemble setting, they play it at school, they want to have a band with their friends, hopefully a garage band. I hope those days are still here for garage bands, because we all had garage bands. Hopefully the kids are doing that these days. we're trying to encourage them to do so. The electric guitar will give you a little more volume. You can play it louder for sure when you're in that situation. You'll be able to get more volume and have more presence. Acoustic guitar, you can also get a plug for that too. That does exist. It costs a little more money. However, if you have acoustic guitar that doesn't have that plug, it may get to be a little bit difficult over time to have to keep miking the guitar. That can get old. So that's something also to consider. The style of music is a big thing. Kids like rock and roll, and mostly, I think, though maybe your child wants to play old Dolly Parton songs, that's fine. You know, whatever they want to do is great. But a lot of kids I see want to play AC/DC, or they want to play Guns N' Roses or Led Zeppelin, Nirvana, something like that. So if you get an electric guitar, it may be stylistically a better choice because you can start playing rock right off, out of the gate. That's something to consider as well. And also, it's an engagement thing. That makes it also more fun, something that they're more likely to stick with and put more time into, which is what we want, because studying music is so good for every aspect of somebody's life. So let's kind of recap all these things here and maybe make an informed decision about what might be the best option. The acoustic guitar is definitely simpler. There's less involved. It's less of a commitment at the very beginning. You can get away with a few things and play it. It's easier for travel. It's definitely easier. You don't have to bring everything with you. Like when I play an acoustic gig, which I've done, by the way, more than anything else, so I'm definitely not bashing it. I've made more money in my life playing acoustic guitar than electric guitar by far. Just me or me with a friend playing Beatles songs or playing Eagles songs, strumming a guitar. You go to the gig, there's a lot less to bring with you. With the electric guitar, I literally bring like a truckload of things with me. There's so much gear involved. So that's also something you consider on a smaller scale. With a new guitar student, the acoustic guitar might be easier to travel with, just to have to go to grandma's house or take it on vacation. So that's also something to take into consideration. And it probably costs less of an initial investment. You can get an electric guitar package. They do exist with an amp and chords and the guitar coming together. That's something that you can get, but the acoustic guitar still may come in a little lower of a price. Now, on the other side of the coin, the electric guitar is probably more fun. It's probably a better fun factor, more excitement. There's more stuff involved. It's probably easier to play. The action is usually better. The strings are lower on the fretboard. Generally, it's a thinner guitar. Now, I will say this, one more sort of side note. You probably don't want to get a guitar at a flea market or get a guitar from your grandfather's attic, something like that. I've seen this happen too many times where kids come in for guitar lessons and they really want to play, but their guitars are impossible to play. The guitars don't even play at all. Or you can't get like a $50 guitar at some shopping center either. It's not going to work. Like the pros, we have these $5,000 guitars and it's really easy to play the guitar. And it seems to be sort of a disconnect where the kids come in and they struggle right off the bat because they're so difficult to play these instruments. Where if they could start with a $5,000 guitar, that'd be great. However, obviously we're not going to do that. That's illogical to do that. But we want to try to get the best guitar you can at the best price point that you can manage to make the best chance for success. Electric guitar also has the tech involved. There's lots of tech, tons and tons of tech. Now, there's probably tech for acoustic guitar as well, but with electric guitar, there's definitely apps and things with amps and all kinds of computerized things. It's great for that. So most kids these days, my 4-year-old has 2 little computers he plays with. One's like a laptop, and then it changes to like an iPad. He's 4, and he's already learning these things. So this is with all the video games and stuff, like when I was a kid, I never wanted to play video games. I wanted to play guitar. I always said that guitar was my video game. Then ironically, Rocksmith came out and Guitar Hero first, and suddenly guitar was a video game, which I think is funny. But the tech makes it more video game-esque, if that makes sense. So that's something to consider as well. Style of music, definitely the style of music with an electric guitar might be more fitting to what your kid wants to play. Keep that in mind. And then the volume. If you want to have your kid's going to play at church, or if he's going to play at school or in some sort of ensemble, an official ensemble, or if he's going to play with his friends and rock out and he has a drummer and a bass player, electric guitar might be more fitting for that as well. And so my overall take about the decision, the electric guitar definitely wins. Now, this is not a traditional answer, but in all of these years of teaching children, like 24 years of watching kids come into lessons with either instrument and see the level of improvement, excitement, enthusiasm, engagement, and overall struggle or lack thereof with the guitar. The electric guitar is a clear winner for helping with success and for getting your kid to be really excited and to get involved in music and really want to stick with it. So my assessment is to definitely go with the electric guitar. Now, if you have to get an acoustic guitar or you choose to get an acoustic guitar, that's not a bad thing either. It's fantastic. That's like, you know, I can't think of an analogy right now, but it's a great thing to play acoustic guitar. I played that Martin guitar behind me for like hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's not a bad thing. But if I had to make a choice, when my kid starts to play, I'm going to go with electric because I have a better chance for success, and there's lots of other categories and reasons it works better. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful for you. Please hit that subscribe button. And also, if you play guitar or your kid's going to play guitar, this channel has lessons all the time being put up all the time, so you can definitely come here to study the instrument as well. So I'd love to have you on board on the channel. I really appreciate your support. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. And oh yeah, by the way, up here on this left side here, you're going to see another tab for another video that's called 7 Things to Consider When Buying Your First Guitar. So you probably want to take a look at that video too. That might be helpful. It's kind of a sister video to this one. Okay, well, thank you so much for checking out the video, and good luck shopping.